Hello everyone, I'm Terry Hartley at Rustic Barn Cards. Welcome, I'm glad you're here. So today I have a fun fold, quick and easy. It's called a buckle fold, and I'm going to be using soft succulent. I was going to use the designer series paper, gingerbread and peppermint, but it is sold out. So I want to use a current product. So if you like this, you might want to order some designer series paper. So we're going to use cardstock, designer series paper, and soft succulent. Before we start on our buckle fun fold, just a reminder that the last chance is going on through January 3rd, and this is the last chance to get items from our retiring mini catalog. This is our holiday, our July to December 2021 mini catalog that is retiring. So at the end of December. But right now through the 3rd, you can still purchase some products if they're available, because once they're gone, they're gone. And on my web page at rusticbarncards.com, you can see the list. And then my next thing I want to talk to you is I'm going to have a Zoom party on January 28th, 6 to 8 p.m. You can do that right from the comfort of your home. The cost is $40, and for the $40, you will receive a roll of ribbon, a package of embellishments, designer series paper, and a card kit, and written tutorials. Plus, we will create our cards on our Zoom party. I will be using the Sweet Conversations stamp set, which will be available on January 4th. And here is the stamp set. So it does have Valentine's Day, happy to have you in my life. So it's not just Valentine's Day. So we'll be making a variety of cards on our Zoom Craft Day on January 28th. You can go over to my webpage at www.rusticbarncards.com. Information will be down below in the description, and you can register for that. And I am starting a monthly stamps club in January. And it'll be $30 a month. And for $30 a month, you will receive a stamp set. And January stamp set will be the Love and Happiness. So you will, for the $30, you'll receive a stamp set, a video tutorial, and a card kit to your home to make 6 cards. And you can sign up for a month, try it out, and if you like it, sign up for the next month. So, again, it isn't ongoing. It's going to be ongoing, but you don't have to sign up and think you're going to be registered for the next year. You can decide to sign up monthly, is what I'm trying to say. So it's by the month. And again, information over on my webpage. Then the last thing before we start stamping is I wanted to share, I have partnered with 2 other demonstrators, one from Australia and one from Canada. They're awesome demonstrators, and we call ourselves the Online Crafting Trio, and we are going to have an online global retreat on February 12th, if you live in Canada or United States. If you live in Australia, it's February 13th. And the link to register will be coming soon, and you can register from the Australia demonstrator, Canada, or myself, and you'll be placed in a private Facebook group for our online global retreat. Okay, enough housekeeping. Let's start stamping. I'm bringing in our trimmer, and I have soft succulent cardstock, which is 8.5 by 11. So I'm going to have the 8.5 over here on this side, and here is the 11, and I'm going to place it into my trimmer, and I'm going to trim at 4 1/4. I'm going to lay this piece aside, and now I'm going to turn our cardstock, and we are going to score at 3 inches. And I'll have all the measurements down below. Okay, and then I'm going to set this aside. Bring back that cardstock that we didn't use a second ago that we cut off. And I'm going to make the belt piece. So I need 4.5 by 2. So let's go ahead and place it at 2 so we won't waste as much cardstock. So 2, and I will score that. Oh, excuse me, I will cut it at 2 inches. So it's 2 inches. Then I'll turn, and I'm going to trim at 4.5. So our belt piece is 2 inches by 4.5, and then I'm going to put it back in the long way, and I am going to score at 1 inch. So I'll place this at 1 inch, and I'll bring the lighter blade, which is our score blade, and now we have our pieces, and we can start working on our card. So I'm just going to fold on our card base. Use my bone folder to give it a crisp edge. And do the same with the belt piece. Fold that over. The designer series paper I'm going to use today is the Tidings of Christmas. And it's in the annual catalog, and this is still available. And I'm going to be using this designer series paper, and I'm going to be using both sides for my buckle fold. If you do not have this designer series paper, it is gorgeous. Called Tidings of Christmas. See all those beautiful prints? Then on the back, you have some stripes. There's some polka dots in there. Some snowflakes. I have already cut the designer series paper, and you're going to need 2 pieces of designer series paper at 4 by 2 3/4. One is for the inside and one is for the front. And I am going to use one for the inside and this one for the front. You also need a solid color. I'm using soft succulent, 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and then a basic white, which is 2.5 by 2.5, and then a basic white 4 by 2 1/4, and this is going to go inside our card, and we'll put our greeting on it. All right, let's do a little stamping, and let's put our card together. I'm going to be using the Evergreen Elegance stamp set, which is in our annual catalog, and I'm going to be using this tree stamp right here, and the sentiment or the greeting, it's friends like you that make this season so wonderful. So I'm going to bring in our stamp and go ahead and ink this up. I'm going to bring in a little scratch paper because I'm going to do some stamping off. But I'm going to go ahead and place this. Now, if you notice, if I place it right here, I might not be able to get the top of the tree at the top of my 2.5 inch basic white. So I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. So I can make sure I have all of it. I'll give it even pressure. And then straight up. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp to the right of my tree. And then I'll need to ink this up again. Then I'm going to stamp off. And then I am going to place this. There we go. right, now I'm going to close this. Well, actually, I think I'll leave the soft succulent open because we have a little more stamping. Then I'm going to come back to that. So let's put that out of the way. And we'll bring in our basic white and our greeting. It's friends like you that make this season so wonderful. So we'll go ahead and ink this up. I like to turn to make sure that I have my ink evenly on my stamp. It's a little crooked, so I'm going to turn that over. And I'm using basic white, thick, so you can do that. Now let's see if I can get that a little bit better. I like that better. It's a little more even. Okay, let's close this up and let's move on. I'm going to bring in the Evergreen Border Punch and a piece of Evening Evergreen cardstock. And I guess this is about 2 inches wide, but it could be whatever you wanted it to be. So I'm going to place this in the border punch. I'm going to turn it around this way so I can punch down. Does that make sense? So I'm going to place that in here. I'm going to make this sit on this lip right here. Then I'm going to press down. Then I'm going to slide my cardstock over. Bring it down so you can see that a little bit better. And see these trees here? So I'm going to line up this first tree that I punched with that one. And then this and this. So these first 3 trees are lined up with the ones I've punched. And then I know that I can go ahead and punch again. And I could continue, so then I would continue if I wanted to and place the next 3 and continue, but I don't need any more trees than this. And then this is what I have. So then I'm going to bring, this is the scrap that I don't need. Bring in my snips. And I'm just going to snip this right here. Snip these off right here. And I have some trees that we are going to add to our card. And we're going to place these right here at the bottom of the basic white that we stamped. Okay, let's go ahead and put our belt on. So I have decided, I think, that I'm going to place this pattern, and you can kind of decide, I think it looks better this way, so you can kind of turn it around and decide. And then this pattern, which is the opposite of that, on the front of my card. So my belt's going to go here, so I'm going to take this, bring in our belt. Now you could use Stampin' Seal Plus. I'm going to add some glue right here. So where it's folded, kind of folded up. I'm going to go ahead and use the liquid glue. You could use tear and tape. You could use Stampin' Seal Plus. And then I'm going to place, so this is the part I'm not going to use, so I'm going to place it right like this. And I'm going to try to get it even. And when I say even, about the same amount of design series paper above this belt piece and below. Then I'm going to press that. I'm going to let that dry before I attach it to my card. So while we do that, I'm going to bring in our card base, and we're going to go ahead and add our designer series paper to the front of our card. And we're going to use this side. So I'll place it and give a border of that soft succulent and try to get it straight. Then I'm going to bring our square of soft succulent and what we stamped And I'm going to add this to our soft succulent piece. And I'm just going to use adhesive, or the green adhesive, the liquid adhesive, whatever you want to call it. And we'll get this centered in here. And then I'm going to add our trees. So I'm going to add them clear across. So that's why I waited. I didn't cut it earlier because I wanted to have it across on the soft succulent. So we will I'm going to snip that right here. And then after I attach it, I'll have a little more snipping to do. And I'm going to pop this up with dimensionals. Now I have added the dimensionals. On some of the taller trees, I did put 2 of the mini, and then some I just put 1. And this one I know I'm going to have to trim, so I tried to place this mini dimensional over a little bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn that around, and let's add this to the bottom. And it looks like maybe I really don't even need a dimensional there, but we'll go ahead and use our scissors. Snip that off. And then we will be attaching it on the front. But let's go ahead and bring in this piece here, and we are going to attach it on our card. So I'm going to, this is the piece is going to be like this. So I'm going to turn it over, and this little piece right here, I'm going to add adhesive. And again, you could use Stampin' Seal Plus, tear and tape. And then I want to place it so I have a little bit of a border of the soft succulent around the designer series paper. Try to get it as straight as I can. Not quite. Sometimes it's hard when I can't look right over the camera. Okay, I think that looks good. So we will press that down. Then we're going to bring our greeting in, and we're going to place this right here. And I guess we also needed to put adhesive behind our designer series paper, right? Not just on that one part. Okay, well, we can still do that. So remember, when you add adhesive on that soft succulent cardstock, you also need to add adhesive on your designer series paper. I bet you were thinking, why isn't she doing that, right? Okay. Now we will add our greeting on our basic white that we stamped earlier. I did go ahead and had one already ready, so I didn't use the one that we had stamped twice, but I sure could have. And I'm going to try to make the edge there the same. And make sure it's straight before I press it down. And see here's our buckle, and it's going to go under our piece of cardstock right here. So it's going to go like this, which means, so I'll lay it like this. And then I want to center this front piece over our belt. So we have a little bit above and a little bit below. And then I'm going to put dimensionals, a couple rows over on this side, but not over here. So our buckle will be able to go in our cardstock. Okay, so I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to add dimensionals on this side. So it's on my left side, but when I turn it over, I'll be putting it on my right side of my piece. So I'm making 2 rows using the dimensionals. I'm using the large ones. And that should do it. Okay. Now we have our 2 rows. Move those out of the way. And we're ready to add this. And again, I want to close this because I want to make sure that I have a little, that I have it line kind of centered there. So this will come out, and then you can slip this right in. Now let's do a little embellishment. We need to add a few more things to finish up our card. We're going to bring in some Evergreen Elegance ribbon, and we're going to make a bow. And add that to our card. That will kind of go with our trees that we have down here. And we can add that right here. Make it just a little bit smaller. I'll get some glue dots. And we will add a glue dot. And I'm going to add 2 because that is going to be open quite a bit. And then you can even add a glue dot underneath the bow if you want, or the... And we can trim those off a little bit if you think we should. Maybe just a little. We can always add, we can always take more off. And let's add some embellishments. And then I think we'll add a little glimmer using a Wink of Stella brush. You can never go wrong with the Rhinestone Basic Jewels. And this is a new package because I do use these quite a bit on my cards, but I'm going to bring in my Take Your Pick tool and use the putty side, and I'm going to pick up some smaller ones, and I think we will put one at the top of the tree, and then one over here. And let's see. I think I'm going to put one right there. Okay, now we're going to bring in our Wink of Stella. I'm going to shake that up. And just twist the cap off. Nope. Thought I needed to pull it off, but it didn't seem to want to. Okay, so we're shaking it up. There we go. And now we have pulled that off. And then I am going to just make sure that it's working, and it is. And then we're just going to add some shimmer to our trees. Like it has some snow. Gives it a little shine, a little shimmer. And I could have added, because we have red in our Design Service paper, I could have added some Wonderful Gems or some other red gems for embellishments. So let me get this out of the way. And here is our Fun Fold buckle card. Now we could add some gems over here. We could dress that up. We could also have added a another designer series paper on this buckle fold. So if I made this again, that's probably what I would do, is add another designer series paper here before I added the bow. So again, this just comes out right like this. It's friends like you that make this season so wonderful. You have a place to do some writing, and you can slide this right in. Now you can use this layout with any stamp set, and it doesn't have to be a Christmas card. You can make a buckle card for a birthday, anniversary, thinking of you, get well. So whatever you need a card for, you could certainly use this fun fold buckle card for. Again, I'm Terry Hartley at Rustic Barn Cards. Thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing by clicking that subscribe button down below. I'm trying to grow my channel, and I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.